بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So moving on, we're discussing now مثال. We're discussing المثال الواوي, meaning a مثال which has a wow in it. Okay. So we're now reaching here, and now we're discussing مثال two types, مثال واوي and مثال يائي. So in this lesson, we'll discuss المثال الواوي, meaning which the مثال has a wow inside. The حرف العلة is in a fa kalima and the حرف العلة is a wow. So الأول المعتل الفائي. Okay. Now how do you read this المعتل الفاء? What happens is, the rule is مضاف مضاف إليه. The alif lam cannot have the مضاف إليه cannot have alif lam. You can't say الكتاب زيد, can we? We can't say this, yes? Okay? However, what can happen sometimes, we've studied before, that you have an ism al-amil. Okay? So for example, I can have قائم, for example, زيد قائم أبوه. Yes? And أبوه, this becomes the khabar. And أبوه, this is the marfu, because this is the fa'il of what? قائم. Correct? You following? Now, what can happen? I can have, for example, زيد حسن. حسن is a صفة مشبهة بالفعل باسم الفاعل حسن. And this can have its own fa'il. زيد حسن وجهه. زيد حسن وجهه. Yes, زيد حسن وجهه. And what's وجهه becoming? Why is وجهه مرفوع? Because it's what? It's the fa'il of what? This. Yes, you follow? Now what happens is, there's rules for this, but what can happen is, when you have such a scenario, you can have alif lam on this word, when you not zayd, you can have alif lam on this word, and you can also have, when it is not mudaf, you can have alif lam on this as well. You can have, for example, al-hasanu al-wajhi. It is allowed in this scenario. So if you have ism al-fa'il, ism al-maf'ul as an amil, and the word after is ma'mul, then you can have a mudaf mudaf ilayh structure. Because mu'tal is not even a noun. That's just like an amil. So this is an amil, and this is the ma'mul of it. Then what can you have? A mudaf mudaf ilayh structure, and they can still have alif lam. And this also comes in the Quran. What comes in the Quran? Wal muqi. Comes in the Quran wal muqi mis wa. Yes, correct. So muqim is one who establishes. This is an amil, and this is the ma'mul, the maf'ul bihi of muqim. So what can happen now? You can have a mudaf mudaf ilayh structure, but because this is not a real noun, muqim is not a person or a thing. It's just saying those who establish salah. You can put alif lam on this, and this still becomes mudaf ilayh. So in our example here, al-mu'tal i'talla ya'tallu i'tilal to be mu'tal. So al-mu'tal is ism al-fa'il, and al-fa is what? The fa'il of this originally. It's really al-mu'tallu fa'uhu. Al-awwal mu'tallu fa'uhu. The first one is that one whose fa is mu'tal. But because this is a bit hard to, not hard, but longer to pronounce, al-mu'tallu fa'uhu, what did he do? He put alif lam on this, take off the mudaf ilayhi and put a kasra. Al-mu'tallu al-fa'i. So it's mudaf mudaf ilayhi, but in this scenario, you're allowed to have what? You're allowed to have an alif lam on the mudaf. Do you understand what's going on here? Al-mu'tallu al-fa'i. Why is mu'tallu al-fa'i? Okay. So the first type is mu'tallu al-fa'i. That word whose fa, or that verb or noun whose fa is mu'tal. وَيُقَالُ لَهُ الْمِثَال. You'll call this kind of word mithal. Why is it called mithal? Mithal means what? What does mathal mean? Like, similar. Why is it called mithal? لمماثلته. مماثلة, resemblance. Similarity. Okay? And he is the fa'il and sahih is the maf'ul bihi. Because of its resemblance to what? A sahih word. Words like wajila, for example. Wajila or wa'ada. We call these are mu'talul fa. Yes? We call them mithal. Why? Because they are mumathil, they are resembling, similar to. What are they similar to? They are similar to sahih. In which aspect? في احتمال الحركات. If I have قال, do all three letters have a haraka? Does all three letters have haraka? No. If I have da'a, it was da'awa. Do all three letters have, can all three letters have haraka? No. But when you have a word mu'tallul fa'i, this becomes similar to what? Nasara, fataha. In nasara and fataha, what do all three letters have? All three letters have what? A haraka. And mu'tallul fa, all three letters also have a haraka. So it is mumathil, it is mithal, it is similar to the sahih in this aspect. So a mu'tallul fa is the first type of mu'tal, and it is also called mithal because this resembles because of the mu'tallul fa, because of the mu'tallul fa'i resembling what? Sahih, in bearing or carrying. In carrying all three harakat, all three harakat. Yes? In bearing harakat, it can take harakat. This waw doesn't have an issue carrying a harakat. As opposed to qawala, that can't have a harakat. Da'awa can't have a harakat. Do you understand why it's called mithal? Now, where do we get mithal? So if you look at here, mithal wawi and mithal ya'i. So mithal wawi is where there's a waw, and ya'i is where there's a ya. So mithal wawi comes in all of the abwab except nasara yansuru. You get wa'ada ya'idu, fataha yaftahu, waqa'a yaqa'u, sami asma'u, wajila yawjalu, waritha yarithu, wajuha yawjuhu. And ya'i you get four. Yamana yaymanu, yasara yaysiru, yana'a yayna'u, and yabisa yaybasu. So you get these abwab. Now we're going to first discuss al-wawi is mujarrad. Okay? So amma al-waw. What's the rule regarding the waw? When you have a waw at the beginning of a verb, fatuhdhaf. So first of all, let's get the madhi. First of all, you have what? Three sigas. You have al-madhi, you have mudari, and then the amr is made from what? The mudari. So remember, in this bab, madhi is sahih, meaning it's like sahih. There's no changes to the madhi. Wa'ada, wa'adu, wa'adat, wa'adata, wa'adna, wajila, wajilu, wajilat, wajilata, wajilna, wajilta, ila akhirih. So the madhi, there's nothing to discuss. What do we discuss only in mithal? The mudari. And obviously the amr is made from mudari, so consequentially they will have changes occurring to the mudari as well. And the amr as well, sorry. So the first thing he mentions is that the waw, amma al-waw, as for the waw in al-mu'tallul fa, fatuhdhafu, it will be removed. Removed from what? من الفعل المضارع الذي على يفعل بكسر العين. Which it will be removed from the fi'l mudari, because al-madhi there's no change to madhi. But not all the mudari, only some mudari. Which mudari? That mudari alladhi ala yaf'ilu, which comes on the pattern of fa'ala yaf'ilu. So basically, which has yaf'ilu pattern in the mudari? Which two babs? Bab daraba yadribu and bab hasiba yahsibu. Bikasri al-ain. Okay, bikasri al-ain. Yes? So the waw is removed from, so for example, daraba yadribu. So wa'ada yaw'idu. Yes, wa'ada yaw'idu. What happens now? The waw is removed from that mudari whose ain kalima is what? Kasra. So wa'ada yaw'idu. You have waritha, from hasiba, waritha, yurithu. What happens to this wow? It drops. Because what? The ra has a kasra, the ayn kalima has a kasra. So any mudari whose ayn kalima has a kasra, the wow will be removed because of this. Yes? So that's one place where it's removed. The second place where it's removed is وَمِن مَصْدَرِهِ الَّذِي عَلَى فِعْلَةٍ بِكَسْرِ الْفَاءِ. So for example, what do you say here? If you have the masdar of a mu'tal al-fa, which is a pattern of fi'la, so wa'ada ya'idu, so fi'la of that is going to be wi'datun. What's it going to be? Wi'datun. What do you do from here now? You remove what? The waw. What do you end up with? Datun. Can you say datun? So what do you do now? You move this kasra over here, and the masdar becomes what? Idatun. Wasala yasilu. What's the masdar going to be? What masdar, a pattern of fi'la is going to be what? Wislatun. What does it become? Wislatun. But what do you do now? We say because in the pattern of fi'latun, you drop this waw, and you put the across here. It becomes silatun. And you drop, obviously you can't start with a sakin, so you have to sukun, so you have to make it a kasra. You bring the kasra from the first word. So fi'la becomes sila. Wi'da becomes ida. Yes? وَتَسْلَمُ فِي سَائِرِ تَصَارِيفِهِ. And the waw, the fa'il is the waw. And the waw will remain in place in all of the remaining tasarif, i.e. the madhi' and the etc. You would say وَعَدَ يَعِدُ إِدَةً. So in here the waw has dropped, and in here the waw has dropped. وَوَعْدًا فَهُوَ وَاعِدٌ اسم الفاعل. So وَعَدَ, nothing drops. يَعِدُ, the waw drops. Ida, the waw drops. وَعْدًا, the masdar, nothing drops in here. Yes? Sorry. In this masdar, the waw drops. In this masdar, it stays the same. Wa'id stays the same. Maw'ud stays the same. The amr is made from the mudari, isn't it? So because the amr is made from the mudari, so wa'ada ya'idu, then obviously it becomes id. So in here, the waw is dropped as well. Yes? The nahi is made from the mudari, so the waw is dropped from here as well. So this is an example of what? Daraba yadribu. And even for wamiqa yamiqu. If you have wamiqa yamiqu, you say same thing. Wamiqa yamiqu. So the waw drops in here. It will always drop in the masdar, and it will remain in the fa'il maf'ul. It will drop from the masdar, the amr, miq, and it will also drop from the nahi, la tamiq. Are you following? Make sense? Yes? We continue from here tomorrow, inshallah, okay? سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So moving on, we have another rule here. So what we said previously, we said that the waw is removed when it comes between, when the fa'al mudari has what? Yaf'ilu. It has a kasra on the ayn kalima, then the waw is removed. So for example, wa'ada ya'idu becomes what? Wa'ada yaw'idu becomes ya'idu. Okay, and we have wa'ada ya'idu, so instead of yaw'idu, we have what? We have where? Like this. Okay. Okay. So he's saying here, وَإِذَا أُزِيلَتْ كَسْرَةُ مَا بَعْدَهَا. This is the zarf. Okay. When the kasra ma ba'daha, which is like a thing, the kasra after it, kasratu ma ba'daha, when the kasra which comes after it, uzilat, removed. Azala yuzilu izalatan, to remove. So when the kasra after it is removed, when the kasra after it is removed, u'idat al-wawu al-mahdhufatu. U'idat al-wawu al-mahdhufatu. The waw which has been removed will come back. So what are we saying here? We have yaw'idu. Yaw'idu. So yaw'idu becomes what? Ya'idu, by removing the waw. However, if this kasra is removed, then the waw will come back. For example, yu'ad. Lam yu'ad. Now in yu'ad, after the waw, what do we have? A fatha. After the waw, there is not a kasra. So therefore, it will not be removed. It will stay as it is. Do you understand? So in yaw'idu, it will be removed. But when you have the majhul form, what's the majhul form? Yu'adu. Is there kasra here? There's no kasra. Therefore, the waw will remain intact. You got it? You following? Has everybody understood this rule? So again, when the kasra after is removed, the waw mahdhufa will be brought back. Nahu lam yu'ad. For example, lam yu'ad. Now, وَتَثْبُتُ فِي يَفْعَلُ بِالْفَتْحِ كَوَجِلَ يَوْجَلُ. If after the waw, there is a fatha, the general rule is that the fatha, the waw should stay in place. So not wajila yajalu. What is it? Wajila yawjalu. It's wajila yawjalu, not wajila yajalu. You got it? You following? وَالْأَمْرُ مِنْهُ إِيجَل. And the amr is going to be ijal. So wajila yawjalu becomes ijal. Understood? Yes? Following? So he's saying here, the amr is ijal. So the amr is slightly different, because in amr, what do we have? Is it a waw or is it a ya? It's a ya, even though it's wajila. And it's very obvious, because you can't say iwjal, but he's explaining it here. Asluhu iwjal. Asluhu iwjal. Qulibatil waw. Qalb. Remember this word, qalb. Qalb means what? Changing. So asluhu, its origins was iwjal. Qulibatil wawu ya'an li sukuniha. The waw was changed into a ya because of it being sakin. So the waw is what? Sakin. Wankisar, inkasara yankasiru inkisaran. It means to break, but in grammar, it means to have a kasra. To have a what? Kasra. So because of two things, because of the waw, because of sukuniha is sakin, and because the word after is the word before it is a kasra. The word before it has a kasra, therefore the waw changes to a ya. So that's the rule. Whenever you have a waw, sakina, with a kasra before it, what happens to the waw? It becomes what? E. You can't have ew. It's too hard to pronounce. Do you understand what's happening here? So the first rule he's mentioned here, rule number 1 is that if the ayn kalima has what? A fatha, not a kasra. Wa'ada ya'idu. There's a kasra in the ayn kalima. If there's a fatha in the ayn kalima, the general rule is that the fatha, the waw does not drop. So you have wajila yawjalu. Do you understand? Ahmad, you following? Muhammad? Then there's one thing he needs to explain. What does he need to explain? How do you get ijal? Is it not iwjal? So he says yes, it is iwjal, but the rule is waw sakin, one kisari ma qablaha causes what? Qalb, causes the change of the letter. So the waw becomes a ya, it becomes ijal, not iwjal. Understood? You following? Yes, everybody following me? Okay. Now what he's saying here, فَإِنِ انضَمَّ مَا قَبْلَهَا عَادَتِ الْوَاوِ. So remember, what's inkasara mean? To have a kasra. And indamma means to have a dhamma. And what's to have a fatha? No points for guessing. What's the in fataha? فَإِنِ انضَمَّ مَا قَبْلَهَا. If the word before it has a dhamma, ada, to return, the waw will return. فَإِنِ انضَمَّ مَا قَبْلَهَا عَادَتِ الْوَاوِ. If the word before it has a dhamma, the waw will return. فَتَقُولُ يَا زَيْدُوجَلْ. يَا زَيْدُوجَلْ. So it looks like a ya. He's saying here, تُلْفَظُ. تُلْفَظُ means read. Remember, loves to be read, pronounced. It will be pronounced with a waw, but تُكْتَبُ بِالْيَا. It will be written as a ya. So for example here, so the amr is supposed to be iwjal, yes, but we change it to ijal. However, if we have a dhamma before it, the only reason we change the waw into a ya was what? in kisari ma qablaha. Is there kasra before the ijal now? In here, ya zaidu. So how do you read it? Ya zaidujal, ya zaidujal. With a wow. But how do you write it? With a ya. Okay? Do you understand? Does everybody understand? To summarize this slide, the main rule is that the wow does not drop in if it's maftuhul ayn. And in iwjal becomes what? Ijal. And if you have a dhamma before it, you pronounce it as of a wow, but you write it as a ya. So you have ya zaydujal, but it's written as ya zay. It's written as ijal, but pronounced as ujal. Understood? Yes? You got it? وتثبت أيضا في يفعل بالضم. So for example, the مضارع has three possibilities. Either مكسور العين, مفتوح العين, or مضموم العين. Yes? So you have here فعل, and the مضارع can either be what? يفعل, يفعل or يفعل. If in مثال واوي is مكسور العين in the مضارع, then it drops. If it's مفتوح العين or مضموم العين, it remains in place. وتثبت أيضا, it will also تثبت, stay intact, remain. It will also remain or stay intact in يفعل when it has a dhamma. Like وجه يوجه, وجه يوجه, الأمر أوجه والنحي لا توجه. Yes? Are you following? Good? So there's no change in these words. When it comes from karuma yakrumu, but there's no nasara yansuru, but karuma yakrumu or daraba yadribu or sami'a yasma'u, we've explained all of those rules. So if you look at it here, you don't get nasara yansuru. In daraba yadribu, what will happen to the mudari? It will be wa'ada. What will it be? Ya'idu, not yaw'idu. Why? Because this is maksurul ayn, the waw drops. So wa'ada ya'idu. Okay. Now waqa'a, what's waqa'a? Is yaqa'u. But in theory, what should it be? So this is now khilafun lil qiyas. We'll discuss that in the next one. Why is it yaqa'u? Why is it not yawqa'u? Because what do you say if it's maftuhul ayn? It's supposed to be yawqa'u. Like wajila yawjalu. So these break the rules. This one breaks the rules. We do that in the next slide. Waditha, what will it be? Yawdithu ya yarithu? Yarithu because it's got a kasra on the ayn kalima. And wajuha, yawjuhu, the waw will stay in place because it's what? Dhamma. You follow? Yes? So we've done the main rules. What's the main rule? Madhi. Is there any change in madhi in mithal wawi? No change in the madhi. Look at all of these. The waw stays in place. In the mudari, the waw drops when it's maksurul ayn fil mudari. Then the waw will drop. So for example, yarithu and ya'idu. Now fatah yaftahu, we got a bit of a problem. That's what we're discussing here in this slide. So can get to come up. Okay. Okay. وَهُذِفَتِ الْوَاوُ مِنْ يَتَأُ وَيَسَعُ وَيَضَعُ وَيَقَعُ وَيَدَعُ وَيَهَبُ, and you miss a few of them. يَذَرُ يَلَأُ يَزَأُ and يَلَغُ. All of these are what? Are they maksurul ayn or maftuhul ayn? Maftuhul ayn. So the easy, simple ways, it doesn't follow the rules, we just accept it. Yes? But he's trying to justify it and make it makes it a bit complicated. But all you need to know is what? That there are few words which are maftuhul ayn, which are khilafun lil qiyas, which are against the general rule. Do you understand? You following? Correct? What are these words? Yata'u is to squash or to trample. Okay? Wasi'a kursiyuhu sama, wasi'a to expand, to be expansive, to be wide. Yada'u to place. Yaqa'u to occur. Yada'u is to leave. Yahabu is to grant, to give. Yadharu is also to leave. What does yala'u mean? Yala'u means to lie. Kadaba, to lie. Yaza'u is to stop. And yalagha, walaga yalaghu, it means to, when a dog puts its tongue in water and drinks it. That's called yalaghu. I don't know what that is in English. Gulp, for a dog to gulp, or a dog to put its tongue in the water and drink it. It's called yalaghu, wulugh. So basically, these words don't follow the rule. The rule is the waw should only drop when it's maksurul ayn. But how many words do we have here altogether? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Yes? Okay? Yes? Understood? You got it? Everybody understand? Okay. Now, that's simple. That's simple to remember. These rules, these words don't follow this particular rule. But now he's explaining the reason. So he's saying here, so until here, لأنها في الأصل يفعل بالكسر ففتحت العين لحرف الحلق بعد حذف الفاء. This is what his reasoning is. This is what he's claiming. He's again, just go through the text. You don't have to. This is this. Sometimes do we need to justify all of it? I say, well, this is how the Arab have spoken, and we take it. He's saying no. There's a reason for this. He's saying originally all of these were what? Maqsurul ayn. It was really yati'u, yasi'u, yadi'u, yaqi'u, yadi'u, yahibu, yadiru, yalighu. These were all what? Maqsurul ayn. Originally, because of the original rule, what happened? What happens? You drop the waw. Then why is it yata'u now? Why is it yasa'u now? Why is it changed? فَفُتِحَتِ الْعَيْنُ لِحَرْفِ الْحَلْقِ. Because there's a harf al-halq in all of these, in the ayn or lam kalima, because of the harf al-halq, because of the harf al-halq, when you have the harf al-halq, throat letters, you give it a fatha, because bab fatha yaftahu has usually what? Throat letters. So this is what he's saying. You need evidence for this. There may be evidence, I don't know, but this is what he's saying. This is his claim. So he's saying here that you originally was fatha, it was what? Maksurul ayn. Then you drop the waw, and then after you drop the waw, what do? You give it a fatha. Wallahu a'lam, this is what really happened or not. But we just know that Arabs have not yet said yawsa'u, they have said yasa'u. Yes? So there come some words, you have to remember them. Yada. Yeah, he's bringing it up later on. Yeah. So the question that he's just posed right now is, what about yadaru? Yes? Again, this doesn't really make sense. But hudhifat min yadaru. Why is it for yadaru? There's no harful halq here, is there? He's saying yadaru means yada'u. Because the meaning of yadaru, much of yada'u would have the same rule. I don't really, seems a bit far-fetched. But anyways, this is what we have here. Okay? Make sense? So he's saying here, because it drops in yada'u, so he's saying yada'u is really what? Sorry. This is what he's saying. I just think this is like I don't agree with this kind of philosophy. Yawdi'u. So he's saying it was yawdi'u. You drop the what? Wow, it comes yadi'u. Now because of harful halq there, you say what? Yada'u. And yada'u has the same meaning as yawdhiru. So you do the same rule there. Wallahu a'lam. This is what he's saying. Understood? You got it? Yes. So yeah. An important note he's mentioned here is وَأَمَاتُوا. They have killed off. The Arabs have killed off the madi of yada'u and yadaru. You don't get wada'a. You get wada'a in theory, but they don't use the madi. They've killed it off. Yes? And they have killed off the madi of yada'u and yadaru. Yes? You following? Then so now the question is, how do we know what the root letters are? He's saying here, وَحَذْفُ الْفَاء, the fa being removed is a sign that it's mithal wawi. Because the only time that mithal gets dropped off is when it's waw. The mudari, the ya never gets dropped off. It can't be yayda'u or yaydaru. Because mithal ya'i is not dropped. The fa kalima dropping is a sign that is wow, because only the wow drops. The ya kalima is not dropped, even in mudari. Do you understand? Yes? So he said here, in yadaru is a question mark. Why is it dropping no harful halq there? Because it has the same meaning as yada'u. Wallahu alam. Yes? And he's saying here, you don't use wada'a or wadara. You only use the mudari and the amr. Dharni wa man khalaqtu wahida. So the amr and the mudari is used. The madhi is not used anymore. Okay? So you don't use the madhi. So what happens now? You remove the fa. So you hudif al-fa. You remove the fa kalima. The fa kalima is removed. That now we know that it has to be what? A wow. Because only a wow can be removed. So if you don't have the madhi, how do we know it's wada'a, not yada'a? Because only the wow is removed anyway. So if something is removed, it has to be the wow. Understood? Okay. Let's stop here. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.